Hello, welcome to the third part of this trip planning demonstration. The first part was just an introduction to Google Earth, and the second part we went in with some detail and made a very intentional route. Added a couple points for things that might be useful to somebody as an in-town contact if I'm overdue coming back from my trip. So if you're not familiar with these tools, how to pull in topo using elevation profiles and basic Google Earth navigation, check out those earlier videos. But now we're ready to take this route, save it, and we'll pull it into Gaia. I use Gaia GPS. I think there are a few apps that do similar things, but in my experience, none of them compete with Gaia. So that's what I'll walk you through. There are two parts to Gaia, a website and the app on the phone. So let me show you the website first. And it's worth mentioning here that if you're intimidated by Google Earth, which is reasonable, it's got kind of a steep learning curve, you could do all of your route planning here within the website. You see this tool to create a route. And there's some really nice functionality here. They've got this hiker mode, which I don't actually like. I like the bird mode, like let me walk in straight line segments. But you can look at an elevation profile dynamically on my route. Pretty cool. I'm not going to save this. For our route, let's go ahead and import it under your account. Upload, demo, demo, and upload. So once this is pulled into the website, it will also be available on the phone. If it doesn't show up right away, you just have to sync the phone. I'll show you how to do that. Here's our route. Sometimes these points don't come through the import. I haven't figured out why, but when that happens, I go back to my Google Earth. I create a new folder within here, something like points, and then I just drag each of these points into that folder. And then take this points folder, export it, and then upload it into Gaia. But it looks like everything made it through this time. Since we're in Gaia, I want to show briefly how to pull in the Google Earth imagery. This doesn't come standard. There's some other satellite imagery that is standard. Here, MapQuest, Gina, Esri. But I'm used to Google Earth because I used it to create the route in the first place, so I really want it. And it is available, it's just you have to load it yourself. So go into your profile, map sources, import an external map source, give it a name. This is the key, this URL, and I'll make this available at the bottom of the video in text. There's similar but different URLs for, say, pulling in Esri or pulling in Google Earth Terrain, Google Earth Hybrid. So it's all available, but you just have to manually set it. If you see preview tiles here, that means your URL is working. And I'm going to just max out the zoom so that we get the entire package here. Okay, if that all looks good, then you just hit this to add the map source. I'm not going to do it because I've already got it, but that's how you can get it. Okay, let's look at the phone. So a quick pitch on why you might want to use your phone instead of a standalone GPS. And this is it basically for me. It's a larger screen, higher resolution, faster processor. And then functionality like being able to zoom in here, change to a topo map, and get this kind of detail while I'm on the trip. It's just incredibly powerful. I think the standalone units are going obsolete, with the exception of battery life. Battery life is brutal with the phone, and we'll talk a little bit about tricks to manage it, but that's the major weak link. Everything else is better. It's got a GPS chip in it. You don't need Wi-Fi, you don't need cellular, you're probably carrying your phone anyway to take pictures or listen to music. You can get a waterproof case, etc. Okay, let's look at that route that we just imported. And there it is. It does look like the waypoints didn't make it through. So, let's to be complete, let's do this right. I'll go back to Google Earth, pull the rest of these into a points folder, save this as, oh, looks like I didn't get the whole folder. Save this as demo points. Upload. Okay, so now those points show up. Let's see if they've made it to the phone. What I'll do is just exit the app real quick, open it again. I'm not seeing them, so I'm going to try a sync. That's worth us looking at anyway. If you go up into the menu here, and then account, and just toggle the sync. There's one happening in progress. I'm just going to force it again. Exiting out of these, and no points. Come on, Gaia. Let's see. Let me look at my menu. Waypoints. No, it's not really helpful to me. Let me look at folders in case demo points is there. Okay, demo points is there but not turned on. So, alright, so now we've got those points. You can go in here at some detail, click on one. What was this thing again? Oh yeah, that's the crux. Okay, I know I went fast there. Why don't we go back to that menu so I can show you in more detail what those options were. I just pulled up folders, and this is all of the recent uploads I've made. And I can toggle which ones I see and not. Other things that are useful in here, the sync setting was in account, and then settings has a lot. This is where I can control my units, metric, imperial, etc. And then especially important in here is the power saving modes. No GPS until activated means the GPS chip will be asleep until I hit the Find My Location button, and then it'll turn on the chip, and then I can hit that Find Me to turn it off. So that's probably the most critical way to save battery life. Similarly, disable altitude lookup. Basically, that just prevents the app from trying to find an altitude when I don't need it, which is, I basically never need it because I've got a topo map right there. That's pretty much it for settings. If you have a bunch of maps from other trips and you need to clear some real estate, you can come in here, swipe these, and delete. Okay, so make some room on your phone. This is a search option, which I've never used. This is the Find My Location, so I hit that once, and it centers me here in town. A really cool function with this is to hit it twice, and then it turns into a line of sight tool. So if I'm in a whiteout and I know I need to head down this stream, I can get a bearing this way and then walk the direction that my phone is facing. So I use that quite a bit. I hit the screen to get out of that mode. This plus symbol is the way to create waypoints, routes, take a picture. I will do this every now and then to create a route or a waypoint over here somewhere and save it, or come in here and then edit the number and put in something. So if somebody sent me a landing zone, I can enter it this way. And then what I use more than that is this waypoint function, this route function. I don't actually use it to draw routes, but I just like this first point because of what it shows me. So again, if I'm in a whiteout and I need to be heading up here, I can drag this, get that bearing 42 degrees, put that in my compass, put my phone to sleep so I'm saving battery life, and then navigate by compass, knowing that I have about a mile to go at 42 degrees, for example. Sometimes this information doesn't show up. It's inconsistent, but I think it might be when the GPS isn't turned on. So if you're trying to draw that route and you don't see this information, try canceling and just recentering a couple times, GPS on, off, on, off. You can also start drawing a route with a long press. So I just hold my finger down here, and then I can move that around to wherever I need it to be. So that's equivalent to going to the plus and create route. We'll cancel this. And then the base layer here is how we toggle from satellite to topo. Or any of these other layers, you can just add them to your queue this way. Added, and stack them all up here. I pretty much always just have my topo and my Google Earth. I kill these. But there are some other layers here. If you look under more layers, you can see a bunch of overlays and layers. Imported is where that Google Earth one lives, so if it didn't show up right away, it might be buried in here. Some of these are only available for Pro, but at least in Alaska, the overlays, the coverage isn't great enough to really make Pro worth it in that regard. Pro is pretty valuable when you go to actually download the maps. Let's do that now. So downloading maps is what you do before the trip, because as soon as you lose cell and Wi-Fi, you won't have access to this imagery. So I'd highlight the area that I want to download the imagery, and on Pro you get everything that's in the queue. So in this case, if I hit save down here, I get both the satellite and the topo. With a standard account, I would only be getting a satellite because that's what I see. Then I'd have to exit this, pull up the topo, draw the rectangle again, and then download topo. So what you see is what you get for standard, whereas with Pro you get the whole stack. Notice this slider up here too, and what it does in terms of zoom level and file size. So if I'm only getting the really coarse zoom, it's a tiny file. If I max it out, it's the biggest file. So depending on how large of an area you're going, how much memory you have on your phone, you could play with this, but ideally you could just max it out. You want this to be full resolution. I'm going to cancel this. I think that's it for the base layers. If you don't like having this up here, you just tap on it, hides it. Same with the menu at the bottom, tap to hide. If you do a long press on the bottom, it pulls up the other menu options. So you can customize that. Just press on the bottom to minimize it again. I think the only thing I haven't mentioned is recording a track, which is really straightforward with this record button. And this is pretty cool because it collects stats on the trip. So I'm going to stop this one since I'm just sitting here. But let's zoom out. I've got one of these from vacation in Hawaii a couple weeks ago. And this was a beach walk. And if you go into the stats window, especially at the bottom is what I like. I just think it's cool to see this moving time, stopped time, our average speed, moving speed. If you're a bit of a dork like I am, then it's really cool to have this information. Okay, I think that's it for the intro. I'm just going to bounce back to my current location by hitting the GPS activator there. And the only other thing I wanted to mention was battery life. You saw those two options within the menu settings, and I would definitely have those both turned on to save battery. And then just within the phone itself, everything that I can turn off, I should. So Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, cellular. If I can avoid using the phone for music and for pictures, that will help. Turn down the brightness, everything you can think of. If your phone has a low battery mode, turn that on. You can find some more detail about this online, but the idea is basically, if you don't need it, turn it off. That said, at best I'm able to get maybe 6 days out of it. One battery charge on this, which is maybe a 5C, iPhone 5C, 5S. So on longer trips we carry small solar panels, and those have worked great. Or external batteries, those have also worked really well for us. Okay, that's what I got. There's some sort of text content to match this online you can refer to. But hopefully this is useful, and have a good trip.